Ho, ho, ho. Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate coming at you. Yes, it's that time of year again, that time to dust off and pull out the Christmas horror movies, the movies that just make a mockery of the mockery that is Christmas. I've said it many times, for years on this channel that I'm not, I don't participate in holidays. Just because it says something on the calendar doesn't mean you got to do it, is what it boils down to. Someone else thinks of something and you don't have to play along, so I don't play along. But one thing I do like about Christmas is, I've said also years, months and years past, is I like the holiday lights, I like the Christmas lights and the decorations and stuff like that. And I also like the Christmas horror movies. And that's, one of the, instead of watching like It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street and White Christmas and all that kind of stuff, I generally dust out the Christmas horror movies this time of year. And I guess that's kind of playing along with the holiday to a certain extent, but whatever. So anyway, obviously I grew up with movies like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and I didn't see Silent Night, Bloody Night until a while later, and same with like Christmas Evil and stuff. But at any rate, I'm coming at you for a review for what's basically, I don't know, probably more or less the remake / reboot of Silent Night, Deadly Night by the name of simply, what's it called? Silent Night. Now this movie, I don't know if I can read. They make this print just smaller and smaller as years go on. So this is copyrighted 2012, so I think I knew about it, just internet is a big place and you get wind of stuff visiting wherever you visit online. You get wind of stuff over the, months and stuff like that. So I think I got wind of this back when it was being, either made or, about to come out and stuff like that. And obviously because I was just, by that time already, so fed up with remakes and reimaginings and reboots, I didn't even give it a chance. Lo and behold, this mom and pop video store by the name of Video Den closed this spring. I'd made a video about it and kind of did a tour of the video store. Well, back when, like, my second to last or maybe last visit to the video store, this is one of the actual movies that I picked up, previously viewed a former rental for $2.50. I'm like, oh, well, I never really had any interest in seeing it, but for $2.50 I could see it and review it in December. So if you haven't guessed, that's what I'm doing. So I'm coming at you to review the, remake / reboot of Silent Night, Deadly Night by the name of Silent Night. I do think the cover, I always thought the cover was kind of cool, and the what turns out to be the Santa mask, or the mask that the guy kind of makes and puts a beard on and stuff like that. Unfortunately, in my opinion, that's the best part of the movie. This movie stars Malcolm McDowell as just like a sheriff or whatever the hell he is. It also stars, the reboot / remake of My Bloody Valentine 3D's Jamie King, who I think this was made in Canada as well as that, as Silent Night, My Bloody Valentine 3D. That would explain her appearance in this movie. I don't know if she only does movies filmed up there or not, but regardless, My Bloody Valentine 3D's Jamie King, that's her name I think, is in this movie playing a deputy or whatever, cop, under the whatever, working under the sheriff or whatever, Malcolm McDowell. First off, I don't know, I don't like the overall tone of this movie. I'm assuming it's shot digitally in 2011, 12, whatever. I'm assuming it's just digital. I don't like the washed out look. I think this was filmed in Canada, and it looks like it was filmed in summer. I don't think there's any breath to be seen. There's certainly no snow to be seen, I don't think. They do some of the kind of, not always, but a lot of times do the shots from below, and so you don't really see the ground, so there's no snow on it. I don't like the washed out look. I think that was them trying to make it look a little colder than it was, because it was probably filmed during the summer. All the flesh tones are just like gray, like everyone's just a zombie dead. The movie starts with this kind of lame scene of, the just grungy ass, whatever, guy is shaving in this grungy ass sink and puts on the one cool thing about this movie is the mask. This guy kind of cuts out the bottom of this kind of see-through mask and like attaches a beard to the bottom, and the look of the mask is, you know, one of the best parts about this movie in my opinion. But other than that, then he just like goes down in some basement and electrocutes this, I think it's a cop who works at, you know, Malcolm McDowell's, you know, police station with Jamie King's character. Of course, since the guy dies at the very beginning of the movie, you don't get to see them work together, but I think the guy who gets like electrocuted at the beginning is a cop that works with Jamie King's character, at least before the movie started. This movie is just, you know, like Silent Night, Deadly Night, when we reviewed it, and then of course the review got deleted because it had footage from the movie in it. That movie's got such a great, you know, setting up of everything, and then, you know, the movie spends, the first half is just setting it up, and then the second half, or maybe even less than the second half, is, you know, Billy's night of, you know, terror and rampage on Christmas Eve or whatever. And this movie is just like, so that movie in that aspect for me was very competent in the sense that it had a, you know, just a competent kind of structure. This movie is just like a high school kid or maybe even middle school kid wrote it. It's just like, okay, beginning starts, scary guy puts on a Santa outfit and electrocutes a guy, and then we introduce, you know, Jamie King's character, and then we just see some random bitchy little teenage girl, you know, telling her mom to take me to the mall, and then like ding dong, you know, Santa's rings the doorbell and just like got a taser or something and just kills the girl. It's just like so nonsensical, like it's just, oh man. And that's another thing I want to mention. Like I want to say the better part of all the kills in this movie, like sometimes maybe a director or producer or something, this movie's got like a bazillion executive producers, so someone's bright idea was, you know, for like the majority, it's not all, but I'd say the majority of almost all of the kills in this movie, regardless of how they were killed, all have the, you know, inevitable blood spurting out of the, you know, mouth, very much like with whatever Final Destination that was, where the guy's feet were getting caught in the, you know, escalator, and he's like, blah! You know, very much the same thing. Here is some kind of buxom, you know, relatively sexy, tattooed, I don't really like tattoos, you know, chick runs around like topless, naked except for like underwear, which again would signal that this is actually shot in the summer. The grass is all green as hell. And running around, you know, in the Christmas tree thing, and ends up in a wood chipper. And I think as soon as like her feet, you know, Santa puts her in the wood chipper, and as soon as her feet like start getting touched, it's like blah blah, you know, spitting up blood. So long story short, like you get really sick of people just spitting up blood in this movie. I don't really like drool and things coming out of the mouth. Even if it's fake blood, it's you know, it's still like mixed with real drool, and it's just like So that's just kind of a thing, you know, for me. I don't really like blood coming, or really anything coming out of the mouth, and just to see it on literally like nearly every kill is just really lame. So in my opinion, this movie it tries and fails. I think Jamie, you know, it's just boring in my opinion. It's like 90 minutes of just boring. I think Jamie King kind of holds the movie together. There's a part where she comes across her dad having been killed, and you know, she does a pretty good job, you know, holding the movie together, and also in that scene of, you know, playing sad and, you know, discovering her dead dad is, you know, so, you know, I will say that Jamie King, I'm not a big fan of her. I mean, all I've really seen her in is My Bloody Valentine 3D, and since I despise that movie, I kind of, you know, despise, unfortunately, it's not fair to the people who were in it, but I kind of despise everything about it and everyone in it, and as a, you know, as kind of a consequence of that. So it's really not, you know, so this movie, even though I despise it as well, you know, Jamie King is relatively good in it and has a really strong scene, you know, in it, so that's a plus, I guess. You know, the character Malcolm McDowell plays is just so, you've seen it over and over and over. He's just trying to be, you know, he's just trying to be all cool and all this and that and whatever. I don't really like Malcolm McDowell in this particular movie very much. I mean, he plays the exact same part as Loomis as he did in the Halloween, you know, the two Rob Zombie Halloween movies. It's almost like the exact same character in a way. This movie has, in my opinion, just a lame, random, I was talking earlier about, you know, feeling like it was written by a middle school kid, just this random, just, you know, this is just stuff happening and people being people you haven't even known in the movie being killed just randomly, and just this random directionless feel to it. I feel. You know, in my opinion, one of the best things about the movie is this flamethrower. That's also something that caught my eye with the cover art. Cover art I do think is okay on this. The flamethrower, I can say this, flamethrower idea is kind of cool. In my opinion, kind of underused. It's not really used very much in this movie, probably because it's just, dangerous to do, I would imagine. But I'd say the flamethrower idea is kind of cool and really kind of an epic, image of the Santa character, spraying this huge flame. It's also kind of like a little bit of warmth on a cold Christmas night, if you will, even though this is probably filmed in the summer. Once again, no snow is a huge, if there were any stars that I'd give this movie in the first place, it loses points, it loses starage for just simply, like, a Christmas kill movie, snow, period. I don't care if there's places like Hawaii and Afghanistan that don't have snow. I grew up in a place with snow, so you need, well, so many do, so many of us do in North America. New York, northern part of the, a lot of people grow up, let's face it, a lot of people grow up with snow. Or, a lot of people have snow around Christmas in North America. So, I don't know, to me, Christmas movie, whether it's horror, whatever, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know where this is supposed to be taking place, but it's just lame to me when you got all these characters all bundled up and it looks like it's, 80 degrees or whatever. Christmas horror movie, snow, that's all there is to it, in my opinion. In closing, I kind of had to go like this and roll my eyes, put my hand on my face and roll my eye. I can't remember what order I did it. Maybe I rolled my eyes and then I put my hand on my face. But there's this scene where this character, who of course ends up being off later on, I don't know if he's visiting his grandpa or whatever. Of course they had to throw in an homage to, the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, or I guess I could say, since this movie isn't the same title, it's, missing half the title, I guess I could say, it's an homage to Silent Night, Deadly Night, where the famous, what the hell was his name? Will Hare portrays the crazy Santa Claus in the Nut House, They actually take some of the actual, I think, word-for-word dialogue. He doesn't do the whole spiel, but some of the more memorable, some of the more memorable stuff, I can't remember what it was, since it's so memorable, but there was a really laughable kind of lame-ass, very quick, abbreviated, homage to Crazy Grandpa in this movie, which you just have to go like this, and, I did. In my mind, I did. I don't think I did the physical thing, but it was just like, oh, man. Very sad state of affairs. They pay homage to Grandpa. Another homage paid to scene is this relatively attractive blonde chick does get impaled on antlers. Obviously, in my opinion, it's not really as well done as the Silent Night, Deadly Night. But it's ironic because someone can get their feet chewed up by a wood chipper in this and blood just squirts out of their mouth, but this chick who dies on the antlers where she's like impaled through her stomach doesn't have any blood come out of her mouth. So maybe it was like the actress didn't want blood coming out of her mouth or whatever, but whatever the reason is, thank you. It's just kind of ironic that when blood should come out of someone's mouth it doesn't, and then like everyone else it does, so whatever. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the motion picture by the name of Silent Night, the remake / reboot, if you will, of Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'm going to give this one half of a star out of 4 stars. It's really, really, in my opinion, hard to get through. Too long. It didn't need to be 90. It's like, I think it's, 94 minutes. Obviously, that includes the end credits and stuff. But 80 minutes would have done just fine. The end, where it's just like this scene inside the police station where I don't really like it's like green and red colors. It's just like, it's either green or red because like the power's been cut or something, and it's just like the emergency lighting, and it's just kind of, it's hard on your eyes just seeing a scene completely red or completely green. Not recommended Christmas, horror movie, just capitalizing. It's Anchor Bay, who put out, the DVD and Blu-ray of Silent Night, Deadly Night, so they probably still obviously have the rights to it. They're just kind of trying to make it, it's like it's freaking Anchor Bay Films, so it's kind of like Anchor Bay just trying to make a buck by, you know, remaking slash rebooting what, you know, presumably this property that they've got the rights to, and it was just a shameful, just so I probably talked way too long about this movie, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes sometimes on this channel. Thank you. Feel free to let me know what you think about this movie. Have you seen it? Have you not? What do you think of what I thought? What do you think of what you think? Feel free to, you know, chime in the comments. It gets lonely here sometimes with huge movie fanatics. Thank you very much for watching this review, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.